In America, where shoplifting, petty crime, and civil unrest is going unprosecuted, the consequences are putting a target on businesses, big and small. This is the Target story.
Now to the rise of shoplifting. Target says that last year it lost hundreds of millions of dollars from theft.
Terror at a local Target store. A man with a knife going on a violent rampage, stabbing multiple people, including a child.
If you thought it was bad enough that companies are faced with much lower sales due to a crippling economy that's happening right now before our eyes, retailers closing stores due to the lack of sales, but now they are dealing with things like theft, but even worse, violent acts happening in their stores.
Chaos in the concourse. Target Center security seen doing their best to regain control Saturday night.
I'm the Economic Ninja. Yahoo Finance just put out a story on Target about the violent acts that are happening in stores. And I want to read this to you right now. And as I read this to you, think about what is happening right now in the mind of the consumer. What is happening? The social stress is beginning to get to people. It seems that morality is on the decay and violence is on the uptick.
Surveillance video from the morning of May 7th shows 5 men fighting outside the Brookfield Target. It's 4 versus 1. About 30 seconds after they leave the view of the camera, the man who was outnumbered is seen holding a gun as everyone else runs away.
It says here out of Yahoo Finance, Target CEO says we're seeing violent incidents in our stores and it is costing us millions. Not only is there a lack of sales hitting their balance sheet every quarter that they have to go and tell the world that they are slowly having to look at new ways to make money, but also how to close stores and lay people off. But now you're having violence costing them millions. Target has become a target for major thefts, and it is taking a huge chunk out of profits. The retailer estimated in its earnings release Wednesday that inventory shrinkage, mostly the theft of merchandise, would clip profits by a whopping $500 million this year, factoring in about $700 million profit hit from inventory shrinkage in 2022. Target is on pace to see $1.2 billion in profits go up in smoke, due primarily to organized retail crime. Target chairman and CEO Brian Cornell says the problem is getting worse. It's nationwide and across the various merchandise departments. The unfortunate fact is violent incidents are increasing at our stores and across the entire retail industry. And when products are stolen, simply put, they are no longer available for guests who depend on them, Cornell said on a call with reporters. Left unchecked, he said, organized retail crime degrades the communities we call home. As we work to address this problem, the safety of our guests and our team members will always be our primary concern. Beyond safety concerns worsening, shrink rates are putting significant pressure on our financial results. Now, the problem of organized retail crime has only grown worse in recent years as thieves look to secure goods and sell them cheaper to consumers in an age of elevated inflation. Goods stolen from stores, which contribute to inventory shrinkage, led to $94.5 billion in losses in 2021 alone. This was up from $90 billion in 2020, according to late 2022 study by the National Retail Federation. About 32.8% of companies surveyed called out organized retail crime as becoming much more of a concern in the last 5 years. In a report released last month, an NRF analyst of 132 crime groups that conducted booster operations between 2014 and 2022 found that 16% used at least one violent tactic in stores. Those tactics include smash and grab, use of firearms or other weapons, battery, flash mob tactics, or threats of violence against store employees. Look, the fact of the matter is, things are bad and they're getting much worse. And we're seeing all over videos of fights, even just fights going on. While everybody's focused on the fight, people are literally stealing goods and walking around the door. We've seen stories out of California where literally a flash mob will come in with 15 cars, drive right up to the front of the store, run inside in a mob mentality, grab as much stuff as they can, overpower everybody, and anybody around, including the security guard, doesn't want to touch them because they don't want to get beat up, and they run right out the door. And then we've seen states like California, and I'm sorry, but my disdain for the laws or lack thereof in California, that they will refuse to prosecute if you steal under a certain threshold of dollar value, only gives these thieves more ammunition. And ammunition is the key. We're seeing more and more rights being taken away from us. And so what does this mean? The degradation of the society as we go into this collapse is very serious, and it's something that you need to prepare for to protect your family. Understand that, like I said, things are bad and they're getting worse. An official recession has not even been called out yet. And the day they do, even though I believe personally we are already well into a recession because the books are being cooked, once that announcement is there, markets are going to continue their free fall. They're going to have a reason, an emotional reason now to go down. The point is that we need to be prepared and not scared. Start to realize your surroundings and understand what is going on. Target and other big box stores are literally closing locations, not only due to theft and violence, but because of straight up lack of sales. Most of the items in this store alone you don't need. Therefore, people aren't buying them. They're sticking with groceries and clothing, necessities. And outside of that, they're not selling any of their extra items. If the last 3 years has taught us anything, that is, what could we have done better to be ready for an event? And the event that comes next, and it's already started, and it's going to hit you in the face really soon, is an economic collapse. Are you prepared for that? I hope you got something out of this. I thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is out.